Don't argue about politics on social media. It never helps, and it usually hurts you and maybe some others because it's hard to stop when these things get going. And in this session, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why arguments happen so much on social media, how to tell when a conversation is turning into an argument that's unproductive, and what you can do to avoid these arguments. This goes on any kind of social media platform: YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, all the other ones, and maybe even in emails or texts with other people. Hi, my name is Bill Clotty. I am a psychotherapist with 45 years of experience, author of 2 self-help books, and I'm here to try to share what my clients have taught me over these many years with you and see if that can be of some help to you. So let's dig right in, and I'm going to start right away with some of the reasons there's such an argumentative atmosphere out here. I think the first is that there seems to be a lot at stake with the great differences in views on politics right now. And along with that goes a lot of fear and anxiety by people, which drives them to argue and try to make others come to their viewpoint, to convince other people. In addition, I think it's also human nature that if we really enjoy something, whether it's a movie we just saw and we want to tell everybody about, or a religious view, or financial advice, or things like that that have been helpful to us, we want to convince somebody else, but it can run into becoming an argument instead of a discussion, and that's where things kind of go bad. On top of those kind of emotional needs, there's a clear change in civility on the internet and in TV and everywhere. Words and attacks that used to be forbidden are now seen as okay or even a great thing. And that lack of civility has really kind of made conversations difficult to maintain. Another really big reason is the anonymity of being online. You don't have to talk to a person face to face and have a conversation with them or try to shake hands. Instead, it's sort of like people in automobiles driving down the road with road rage sometimes. They feel protected by their car and that nobody can do much if they yell or scream at them. And there's that feeling that they're safe doing that. And the same thing seems to apply online, I would say. Another issue is that on many of these channels, the more clicks you get, the more money you make. And if you want to get clicks, you say outrageous things. It's sort of like social media, TV media, where you know that when there's TV shows, they get paid by minute or second of advertising, right? And if there's several channels in your local area or on media altogether, they charge for that and by the minute or the second. And the more views they get, the more they can charge for that minute of advertising because they have more people watching it. And a main way you get a lot of people watching is you scare them and you tell them how bad things are going to be and how scary everything should be and all of the bad news that's happened. It gets people anxious. They watch more. The channels get more money because they have more viewers. And one other thing to keep in mind here is that if you get in a discussion with people, logic is not going to help. You're not going to logic people into believing you if they're set already. So it's important to recognize that this is not really often an argument of logic. It's an emotional fear or need that people have, and trying to convince them with facts just gets everybody frustrated. So let's talk a little bit briefly on how to tell if this is an argument or a conversation or a discussion. It's an argument if those people constantly disagree with you. It's an argument if you feel that you're getting personal attacks, like language that is really uncivil. It's an argument if people are using all caps or exclamation points a lot in disagreements. If there's name calling there. One of the biggest and best ways to know if it's an argument, actually, though, is if you're getting upset. If you're getting frustrated, angry, scared, upset, it's not going anywhere in a positive direction. And that will tell you that. The last point I'll bring up today is how to avoid arguing. And I think we start with recognizing what it is. Acknowledge to yourself you don't feel good about this. This has been a continuing confrontation instead of a discussion. There's not much give and take. And it's time to stop. And remind yourself, I'm just going to stop. This is not helping. And if you want to get out of that conversation, you can just say, well, I'm going to leave now, or I'm going to get going, or you just stop instead of continuing to argue. The last thing is, if this continues to happen on that social media site and you can't seem to avoid it any other way, I think really look very carefully at the channels or the sites that you're watching and just drop out of them. Get out of them. Don't subscribe. Just unsubscribe, because you might know it's going to just upset you next time. Those are my suggestions for you in recognizing arguing online in social media and getting off of it by looking at these symptoms of constant disagreeing, a lot of caps, a lot of exclamation points, ongoing conversations that get you upset. Then it's time to maybe drop away from that. So I leave with those thoughts to you and hope this was helpful in some way. If it was, and you think you could gain from it some more, I hope you will subscribe and give me a thumbs up and tell friends. My next broadcast a week from now is going to be on little white lies and how unhelpful those really are. So thanks very much for viewing.